Oh yeah, this one's a laugh riot.
Fun, yes.
It's a few.
I know,
humorous
the punchline
moments.
is everyone dies. There you go.
Man, the fool is
Like every
hilarious in this.
Shakespeare play.
Oh, Goneril's a ghost.
Oh.
Tonight we are reading King Lear by William Shakespeare, adapted for us by the lovely Taylor Lynn Phillips.
Thank you, Taylor.
Tonight playing King Lear,
Thomas Kane.
playing Edgar,
For young.
okay, playing Kent,
Michael Genove.
playing the Earl of Gloucester,
No Seder.
playing Edmund,
Marty Goldberg.
playing Cordelia, and Lear's
Taylor
School,
Lynn. And Taylor Lynn.
playing Goneril,
Juliet Mott.
playing Reagan,
Rachel Sheffrin.
playing Duke of Cornwall and the Gentleman,
David Mackler.
playing the Duke of Albany. Duke of Albany.
Is that me?
It is.
Barney Bozio.
Playing Burgundy, Oswald, Old Man, and Soldier.
Tyler Bogan.
Playing France, Knight, Huron, Servant, and Messenger.
Stephen Ackerman.
King Lear, Act 1, Scene 1. King Lear's palace. Enter Kent, Gloucester, and Edmund the Bastard.
I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall.
It did always so to us, but now in the division of the kingdom, appears not which of the dukes he values most.
Is not this your son, my lord?
Greetings, sir, hath been at my charge, and I have so often blushed to acknowledge him that now I'm brazen to it. This young fellow's mother had indeed, sir, a son for her cradle, ere she had a husband for her bed. But I have a son, sir, by order of law, some year elder than this, who yet is no dearer in my account. Though this knave came something saucily to the world before he was sent for, yet was his mother fair. There was good sport in his making, and the whoreson must be acknowledged. Do you know this noble gentleman, Edmund?
No, my lord.
My lord of Kent. Remember him hereafter as my honorable friend.
My services to your lordship.
9 years, and away he shall again.
Senate. The king is coming. Enter King Lear, Cornwall, Albany, Goneril, Reagan, Cordelia, and attendants.
Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester.
I shall, my lord.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there.
He's handed a map.
Know that we are divided in three our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The two great princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall say we doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth and merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I love you more than word can wield the matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare, no less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as child e'er loved or father found, a love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much I love you.
Shall Cordelia speak? Love and be silent.
Of all these bounds, from even this line to this, we make thee, lady. To thine and Albany's issue be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall, speak.
I am made of that self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my very deed of love, only she comes too short. That I profess myself an enemy to all other joys, which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone felicitate in your dear highness's honor.
And
Love.
poor Cordelia. And yet not so, since I'm sure my love's more ponderous than my tongue.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now, our joy, although our last and least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest, what can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more, no less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Good my lord, you have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as all right fit, obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands if they say they love you all? Happily, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my place shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters to love my father all.
So young and so untender?
So young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so. Thy truth, then, be thy dower. Here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever.
Good my lord, my liege.
Peace, Kent! Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence, and avoid my sight. So be my grave my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Cornwall and Albany, with my two daughters digest the third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with my power, preeminence, and all the large effects that troop with majesty. Ourself, by monthly course, with reservation of 100 knights, be by use to be sustained, shall our abode make with you by due turn. Only we shall retain the name and all the addition to a king. The sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours, which to confirm this coronet part between you.
Royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron thought on in my prayers.
The bow is bent. Make from the shaft.
Let it fall rather, though the fork invade the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly when King Lear is mad? What wouldst thou do, old man? Think thou that duty shall have dread to speak when power to flattery bows? To plainness honor bound when majesty falls to folly? Reserve thy state, and in thy best consideration check thy hideous rashness. Answer my life, my judgment. Thy youngest daughter does not love thee least, nor are these empty-hearted, whose low sounds reverb no hollowness.
Kent, on thy life, no more.
My life I never held but as a pawn to wage against thine enemies, nor fear to lose it, thy safety being motive.
Out of my sight.
See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eyes.
Oh, vassal, miscreant!
Revoke thy gift, or whilst I vent clamor from my throat, I tell thee thou dost evil.
Hear me, recreant, that thou hast sought to make us break our vows, which we durst never yet, and with strained pride to come betwixt our sentence and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear, our potency made good, take thy reward. 5 days do we allot thee for provision, to shield thee from disasters of the world, and on the 6th to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following the banished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death. Away!
Fare thee well, King. Sith thus thou wilt appear, freedom lies hence, and banishment is near. The gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid, that justly sinkest and hast most rightly said. And your large speeches may deeds approve, that good effects may spring from words of love. Thus Kent, O princes, bid you all adieu. He'll shape his old course in a country new.
Exit Kent. Flourish. Re-enter Gloucester with France and Burgundy in attendance.
Here's France and Burgundy, my noble lord.
My lord of Burgundy, we first address you, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter. What in the least will you require in present dower with her, or cease your quest of love?
Most royal majesty, I crave no more than hath your highness offered, nor will you tender less.
Right, noble Burgundy. When she was dear to us, we did hold her so, but now her price is fallen. Sir, there she stands, unfriended, new adopted to our hate, coward with our curse, and strangered with our oath. If aught within that little seeming substance and nothing more may fitly like your grace, she's there, she is yours. Take her or leave her.
I know no answer.
Then leave her, sir, for by thy power that made me, I tell you all her wealth. For you, great king, I would not from your love make such a stray to match you where I hate. Therefore beseech you to vert your liking a more worthier way than on a wretch whom nature is ashamed almost to acknowledge hers.
This is most strange that she whom even but now was your best object, the argument of your praise, balm of your age, the best, the dearest, should in this trice of time commit a thing so monstrous to dismantle so many folds of favor. Sure, her offense must be of such unnatural degree that monsters it, or your forvouched affection fall into taint, which to believe of her must be a faith that reason without miracle should never plant in me.
I yet beseech your majesty, if for I want that glib and oily art to speak and purpose not, since what I well intend, I'll do it before I speak, that you make known it is no vicious blot, murder or foulness, no unchaste action or dishonored step that hath deprived me of your grace and favor, but even for want of that for which I am richer, a still soliciting eye, and such a tongue that I am glad I have not, though not to have it hath lost me in your liking.
Better thou hadst not been born than not to have pleased me better.
Is it but this, a tardiness in nature, which often leaves the history unspoke that it intends to do? She is herself a dowry, fairest Cordelia, that art most rich being poor. most choice forsaken, and most loved despised. Thee and thy virtues here I seize upon. Gods, gods, 'tis strange that from their coldest neglect my love should kindle to inflamed respect. Thy dowerless daughter, king, thrown to my chance, is queen of us, of ours, and our fair France. Not all the dukes of Watrish Burgundy can buy this unprized precious maid of me. Bid them farewell, Cordelia, though unkind, thou losest here a better way to find.
Thou hast her, France. Let her be thine, for we have no such daughter, nor shall ever see that face of hers again. Therefore be gone, without our grace, our love, and our benison.
Flourish. Exeunt all but France, Cordelia, Goneril, and Regan.
The jewels of our father, with washed eyes, Cordelia leads you. I know what you are, and like a sister am most loath to call your faults as they are named. Love well our father. To your professed bosoms I commit him.
Prescribe not us our duty.
Let your study be to content your lord, who hath received you at fortune's alms. You have obedience scanted, and well are worth the wants that you have wanted.
Time shall unfold what plighted cunning hides. Who covers faults at last with shame derides. Well, may you prosper.
Come, my fair Cordelia.
Exit France and Cordelia.
Sister, it is not little I have to say of what most nearly appertains to us both. I think our father will hence tonight.
That's most certain. And with you, next month, with us.
He always loved our sister most, and with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off appears too grossly.
'Tis the infirmity of his age.
The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash.
Such unconstant starts are we like to have from him as this of Kent's banishment.
If our father carry authority with such disposition as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us.
We shall further think of it.
We must do something, and in the heat.
Exeunt. Scene 2. The Earl of Gloucester's castle. Enter Edmund with a letter.
Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom and permit the curiosity of nature of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why, bastard? Wherefore base, when my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue? Why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardy, base, who in the lusty stealth of nature take position and fiercely then doth within a dull, stale, tired bed go to the creating a whole tribe of fops, got tween asleep and wake? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my intention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now gods, stand up for bastards.
Enter Gloucester. Edmund looks over his letter.
Banished thus, and France in colder parted, and the king gone tonight, prescribed his power, confined to exhibition? All this done upon the glad? Edmund, how now? What news?
So please your lordship, none.
Why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter? What paper were you reading?
Nothing, my lord.
What needed then that terrible dispatch of it into your pockets? The quality of nothing hath not such need to hide itself. Let's see. Come, if it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles.
I beseech you, sir, pardon me. It is a letter from my brother that I have not all overread, and for so much as I have perused, I find it not fit for your overlooking.
Give me the letter, sir. Let's see.
Edmund gives him the letter.
It's, policy and the reverence of age makes the world bitter to the best of our times, keeps our fortunes from us till our oldness cannot relish them. I begin to find an idle and fond bondage in the oppression of aged tyranny, who sways not as it hath power, but as it is suffered. Come to me, that of this I may speak more. If our father would sleep till I waked him, you should enjoy half his revenue forever, and live the beloved of your brother, Edgar. My son Edgar? He had a hand to write this, a heart and brain to breed in it. When came you to this? Who brought it?
It was not brought me, my lord. There's the cunning of it. I found it thrown in at the casement of my closet.
Oh, the character to be your brother's?
It is his hand, my lord, but I hope his heart is not in the contents.
Has he never before sounded you in this business?
Never, my lord, but I have heard him oft maintain it to be fit that sons at perfect age and fathers declined, the father should be as ward to the son, and the
Oh, villain, villain. His very opinion in the letter. Abhorred villain, unnatural, detested, brutish villain. Worse than brutish. Go, Sirrah, seek him. I'll apprehend him. Abominable villain. Where is he?
I do not well know, my lord. If it shall please you to suspend your indignation against my brother till you can derive from him better testimony of his intent, you should run a certain course, where if you violently proceed against him, mistaking his purpose, it would make a great gap in your own honor and shake in pieces the heart of his obedience. I dare pawn down my life for him that he hath writ this to feel my affection to your honor and to no other pretense of danger.
You so?
If your honor judge it meet, I will place you where you shall hear us confer of this, and by an auricular assurance have your satisfaction, and that without any further delay than this very evening.
He cannot be such a monster.
Nor is not, sure.
His father, that so tenderly and entirely loves him, heaven and earth. Edmund, seek him out. Find him to me, I pray you. Frame the business after your own wisdom. I would unstate myself to be in a due resolution.
I will seek him, sir, presently. Convey the business as I shall find means, and acquaint you withal.
Late eclipses in the sun and moon portend no good to us. Nature finds itself scourged by the sequent events. Love cools, friendship falls off, brothers divide. In cities, mutinies. In countries, discord. In palaces, treason. And the bond cracked twixt son and father. This villain of mine comes under the prediction, there's son against father. The king falls from bias of nature, and there's father against child. We have seen the best of our time. Machinations, hollowness, treachery, and all ruinous disorders follow us disquietly to our graves. Find out this villain, Edmund. It shall lose thee nothing. Do it carefully, and the noble and true-hearted Kent banished. His offense, honesty. 'Tis strange.
Exit Gloucester.
This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the surfeits of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, the stars. Spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an enforced obedience of planetary influence, and all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on. An admirable evasion of whoremaster man to lay his goatish disposition on the charge of a star. My father compounded with my mother until the dragon's tail, and my nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. Foot. I should have been that I am, had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Edgar.
Enter Edgar.
And Patty comes. My cue is villainous melancholy, with a sign like Tom O'Bedlam. Oh, these eclipses do portend these divisions.
How now, brother Edmund? What serious contemplation are you in?
I am thinking, brother, of a prediction I read this other. What should follow these eclipses?
Do you busy yourself with that?
I promise you, the effects he writes of succeed unhappily, and of unnaturalness between the child and the parent, death, dearth, dissolutions of ancient amities, divisions in state, menaces and maledictions against king and nobles, needless diffidences, banishment of friends, dissipation of cohorts, nuptial breaches, and I know not what.
How long have you been a sectary astronomical?
Come. When saw you my father last?
The night gone by.
Spake you with him?
Aye, 2 hours together.
Parted you in good terms? Found you no displeasure in him by word or countenance?
None at all.
Bethink yourself wherein you may have offended him, and at my entreaty forbear his presence until some little time hath qualified the heat of his displeasure, which at this instant so rageth in him that with the mischief of your person it would scarcely
Some
allay.
villain hath done me wrong.
That's my fear. I have told you what I have seen and heard, but faintly, nothing like the image and horror of it. Brother, I advise you to the best. I am no honest man, if there be any good meaning toward you. I pray you have a continent forbearance till the speed of his rage goes slower. And as I say, retire with me to my lodging, from whence I will fitly bring you to hear my lord speak. Pray you go. There's my key.
Shall I hear from you anon?
I do serve you in this business.
Exit Edgar.
A credulous father and a brother noble is so far from doing harms that he suspects none, on whose foolish honesty my practices ride easy. I see the business. Let me, if not by birth, have lands by wit, all with me's meet that I can fashion fit.
Exit Edmund. Scene 3. The Duke of Albany's palace. Enter Goneril and Oswald, her steward.
Did my father strike my gentleman for chiding his fool?
Aye, madam.
By day and night he wrongs me. Every hour he flashes into one gross crime or other that sets us all at odds. I'll not endure it. His nights grow riotous, and himself upbraids us on every trifle. When he returns from hunting, I will not speak with him. Say I am sick.
Hunting horns within.
He's coming, madam. I hear him.
Oh, put on what weary negligence you please, you and your fellows. I'd have it come to question if he distaste it, let him my sister, whose mind and mine I know in that are one, not to be overruled. Idle old man, that still he would manage those authorities that he hath given away. Now, by my life, old fools are babes again, and must be used with checks as flatteries. When they are seen abused, remember what I said. Advise your fellows so I would breed from hence occasion, and I shall that I may speak. I'll write straight to my sister, to hold my very course. Prepare for dinner.
Exeunt in separate directions. Scene 4, a hall in the same. Enter Kent in disguise.
If but as well I other accents bother, that can my speech diffuse, my good intent may carry through itself to that full issue for which I raised my likeness. Now, banished Kent, if thou canst serve while thou dost stand condemned, so may it come thy master, whom thou lovest, shall find thee full of labors.
Horns within. Enter Lear with knights in attendance.
How now, what art thou?
I do profess to be no less than I seem, a very honest-hearted fellow, and as poor as the king.
Thou beest as poor for a subject as he's for a king. Thou art poor enough. What wouldst thou?
Service.
Who wouldst thou serve?
You.
Dost thou know me, fellow?
Oh, no, sir, but you have that in your countenance which I would fain call master.
And what is that?
Authority.
What services canst thou?
Oh, I can keep honest counsel, ride, run, mar a curious tale in telling it, and deliver a plain message bluntly. That which ordinary men are fit for, I am qualified in, and the best of me is diligence.
Follow me. Thou shalt serve me, if I like thee no worse after dinner. I will not part from thee yet. Dinner! Ho! Dinner! Where's my knave, my fool? Go you and call my fool hither.
Enter Oswald.
You, Sirrah, where's my daughter?
So please you.
Exit Oswald.
What says the fellow there? Call that clockpole back.
Exit a knight.
Where's my fool? Oh, I think the world's asleep.
Re-enter the knight.
No, how now? Where's that mongrel?
He says, my lord, your daughter is not well.
Why came not the slave back to me when I called him?
Sir, he answered me in the roundest manner. He would not. I know not what the matter is, but to my judgment your highness is not entertained with that ceremonious affection as you were wont. There's a great abatement of kindness appears as well in the general dependence as in the duke himself also and your daughter.
I have perceived a most faint neglect of late, which I have rather blamed as mine own jealous curiosity than as a very pretense and purpose of unkindness. I will look further into it, but where's my fool?
Since my young lady's going into France, sir, the fool hath much pined away.
No more of that. I have noted it well. Go you and tell my daughter I would speak with her. Go you and call my fool. Oh, you, sir. You come hither, sir? Who am I, sir?
My lady's father.
My lady's father? My lord's knave? You horse and dog! You slave! You cur!
Lear strikes him.
I'll not be strucken, my lord.
Kent trips him.
Nor trip neither, you base football player.
I thank thee, fellow. Thou servest me, and I love thee.
Come, sir, arise, away. I'll teach you differences. Away, away, but away. Go to. Have your wisdom, so.
Exit Oswald.
Now, my friendly knave, I thank thee. There's earnest for thy service.
He gives Kent money. Enter the fool.
Let me hire him too. Here's my coxcomb. Sirrah, you were best take my coxcomb.
How now, my pretty knave? Why, my boy?
Why? For taking one's part that's out of favor. There, take my coxcomb. Why, this fellow has banished 2 honest daughters, and did the 3rd a blessing against his will. If thou wilt follow him, thou must needs wear my coxcomb.
Take heed, sirrah, the whip.
Truce, a dog must to kennel. He must be whipped out. Sirrah, I'll teach thee a speech.
Do.
Mark it, nuncle. Have more than thou showest, speak less than thou knowest, lend less than thou owest, ride more than thou goest, learn more than thou trowest, set less than thou throwest, leave thy drink and thy whore, and keep in a door, and thou shalt have more than 2 tens to a score.
This is nothing, fool.
This is
You
nothing, fool.
Sorry.
You gave me nothing for it. Can you make no use of nothing, nuncle?
Why, no, boy. Nothing can be made out of nothing.
Prithee, tell him so much the rent of his land comes to. He will not believe a fool.
A bitter fool.
Dost know the difference, my boy, between a bitter fool and a sweet one?
No, lad. Teach me.
That lord that counselled thee to give away thy land, come place him here by me. Do thou for him stand. The sweet and bitter fool will presently appear. The one in motley here, the other found out there.
Dost thou call me fool, boy?
All thy other titles thou hast given away. That one thou wast born with.
This is not altogether fooled, my lord.
Nuncle, thou hadst little wit in thy bald crown when thou gavest thy golden one away. If I speak like myself in this, let him be whipped that first finds it so. Fools had ne'er less grace in a year, for wise men are grown foppish, and know not how their wits appear, their manners are so apish.
When will you want to be so full of song, sirrah?
I have used it, nuncle, ere since thou madest thy daughters thy mothers. For when thou gavest them the rod and putst down thine own breeches, then they for sudden joy did weep, and I for sorrow sung, that such a king should play Bo Peep, and go the fools among. Prithee, nuncle, keep a schoolmaster that can teach thy fool to lie. I would fain learn to lie.
And you lie, sirrah, we'll have you whipped.
I marvel what kin thou and thy daughters are. They'll have me whipped for speaking true. Thou'lt have me whipped for lying. And sometimes I am whipped for holding my peace. I'd rather be any kind of thing than a fool. And yet I would not be thee, nuncle. Thou hast pared thy wit of both sides and left nothing in the middle. Here comes one of the pairings.
Enter Goneril.
How now, daughter? What makes that frontlet on? Methinks you are too much of late in the frown.
Thou wast a pretty fellow when thou hadst no need to care for her frowning. Now thou art an O without a figure. I'm better than thou art now. I am a fool. Thou art nothing. And yes, forsooth, I will hold my tongue. So your face bids me, though you say nothing. Mum, mum, he that keeps nor crust nor crumb, weary of all, shall want some.
He points at Lear.
That's a shelled peace cod.
Not only, sir, this your all licensed fool, but other of your insolent retinue do hourly carp and quarrel, breaking forth in rank and not to be endured riots. Sir, I had thought by making this well known unto you to have found a safe redress, but now grow fearful by what yourself too late have spoke and done, that you protect this course and put it on by your allowance, which, if you should, the fault would not scape censure, nor the redress sleep, which in the tender of wholesome we might in their working do you that offense, which else were shame, then that the necessity will call discreet proceeding.
For you know, nuncle, the hedge sparrow fed the cuckoo so long that it's had its head bit off by its young. So out went the candle, and we were left darkling.
Are you our daughter?
I would you would make use of your good wisdom, whereof I know you are fraught and put away these dispositions which of late transport you from what you rightly are.
May not an ass know when the cart draws the horse?
Does Any here know me? This is not Lear. Does Lear walk thus, speak thus? Where are his eyes? Either his notion weakens, his discernings are lethargied. Ha! Waking! 'Tis not so. Who is that can tell me who I am?
Lear's shadow.
I would learn that, for by the marks of sovereignty, knowledge, and reason, I should be false persuaded I had daughters.
Which they will make an obedient father.
Your name, fair gentlewoman?
This admiration, sir, is much of the savor of other your new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purposes aright. As you are old and reverend should be wise. Hence, do you keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold, that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn? Epicurism and lust makes it more like a tavern or a brothel than a graced palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her that else will take the thing she begs, a little to disquantity your train, and the remainders that shall still depend to be such men as may besort your age, which know themselves and you.
Darkness and devils! Saddle my horse! Call my train together! Degenerate bastard, I'll not trouble thee, yet have I left a daughter.
You strike my people, and your disordered rabble make servants of their betters.
Ingratitude! Thou marble-hearted fiend! More hideous than thou showest to thee in a child than the sea monster. Detested kite, thou liest. My train are men of choice and rarest parts, that all particulars of duty know, and in the most exact regard support the worships of their name. O most small fault! How ugly didst thou in a Cordelia show, which, like an engine, wrenched my frame of nature from the fixed place, drew from my heart all love, and added to the gall, oh, Lear, Lear, Lear! Oh, oh. Beat at this gate that let thy folly in, and thy dear judgment out. Go, go, my people.
Enter Albany.
Here, nature. Here, dear goddess. Here. Suspend thy purpose if thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful. Into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her derogate body never spring a babe to water her. If she must teem, create her children of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart, disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in thy brow of youth, with cadent fear's fresh channels in her cheeks. Turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Away! Away!
What's the matter, sir?
I'll tell thee. Life and death. I am ashamed that thou hast power to shake my manhood thus. That these hot tears, which break from me perforce, should make thee worth them. Blasts and frogs upon thee. The untented wanderings of a father's curse. Pierce every sense about thee. Old fond eyes between this cause again. I'll pluck you out and cast you with the waters that you loose to temper. Yea, it's come to this. Ah, let it be so. I have another daughter, who I am sure is kind and comfortable when she shall hear this of thee. With her nails she'll flay thy wolfish visage. Thou shalt find that I'll resume the shape which thou dost think I have cast off forever.
Exit Lear with Kent and the remainder of his train. The fool remains.
Now, God that we adore, whereof comes this?
Never afflict yourself to know more of it, but let his disposition have that scope as dotage gifts it. What ho! Oswald, ho! You, sir, more knave than fool. After your master.
Nuncle Lear, tarry, take the fool with thee. When one has caught her, and such a daughter, should short the slaughter, if my cap would buy a halter. So the fool follows after.
Exit fool.
This man hath had good counsel. 100 knights. 'Tis politic and safe to let him keep up at point 100 knights. Yes, that on every dream, each buzz, each fancy, each complaint, dislike, he may enguard his dotage with their powers and hold our lives mercy. Oswald, I say.
Well, you may fear too far.
Safer than trust too far. Let me still take away the harms I fear, not fear still to be taken. I know his heart. What he hath uttered to, I have writ my sister. If she sustain him and his 100 knights, when I have showed them fitness. Oh,
Re-enter Oswald.
Sirrah, have you writ that letter to my sister?
Aye, madam.
Take you some company and await a horse. Inform her full of my particular fear, and hasten your return.
Exit Oswald.
No, my lord. This milky gentleness and course of yours, though I condemn not, yet under pardon, you are much more at task for want of wisdom than praised for harmful mildness.
How far your eyes may pierce, I cannot tell. Striving to better off, we marvel well. Well, the event.
Exeunt. Scene 5. Court before the same. Enter Lear, Kent in disguise, and Fool.
Go you before to Gloucester with these letters. Acquaint my daughter no further with anything you know than comes from her demand out of this letter. If your diligence be not speedy, I shall be there afore you.
I will not sleep, my lord, till I have delivered your letter.
Exit Kent.
Shalt see thy other daughter will use thee kindly. For though she's as like this as a crab's like an apple, I can tell what I can tell.
What can tell, boy?
She will taste as like this as a crab does to a crab. Thou canst tell why one's nose stands in the middle on one's face?
No.
Why, to keep one's eyes on either side's nose, that what a man cannot smell out, he may spy into.
I did her wrong?
Canst tell how an oyster makes his shell?
No.
Nor I neither. But I can tell why a snail has a house.
Why?
Why, to put his head in, not to give it away to his daughters, and leave his horns without a case.
I will forget my nature, so kind a father.
Yes, indeed. Thou wouldst make a good fool.
To take to again perforce monster ingratitude.
If thou wert my fool, uncle, I'd have thee beaten for being old before their time.
How's that?
Thou shouldst not have been old till thou hadst been wise.
Oh, let me not be mad. Not mad, sweet heaven! Keep me in temper! I would not be mad!
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 1. Gloucester's castle. Enter Edmund the bastard and Curam the courtier.
Say thee, Kiran.
And you, sir, I have been with your father and given him notice that the Duke of Cornwall and Regan his Duchess will be here with him this night.
How comes that?
You have heard of the news abroad? I mean the whispered ones.
Not I. Pray you, what are they?
Have you heard of no likely wars twixt the Dukes of Cornwall and Albany?
Not a word.
You may do then, in time. Fare you well, sir.
Exit Curan.
The Duke be here tonight. The better, best. This weaves itself perforce into my business, which I must act. Briefness and fortune work. Brother, a word. Descend. Brother, I say.
Enter Edgar.
My father watches. Oh, sir, fly this place. Intelligence is given where you are hid. You have now the good advantage of the night. Have you not spoken against the Duke of Cornwall? He's coming hither now in the haste, and Regan with him. Have you nothing said upon his party against the Duke of Albany? Advise yourself.
I'm sure on it, not a word.
I hear my father coming. Pardon me, in cunning, I must draw my sword upon you. Draw. Seem to defend yourself. Now, quit you well.
They draw.
Yield. Come before my father. Light, ho, here. Lie, brother. Torches! Torches! So farewell.
Exit Edgar.
Some blood drawn on me would beget opinion of my more fierce endeavor. I have seen drunkards do more than this in sport.
He wounds his arm.
Father! Father! Stop! Stop! Oh, help!
Enter Gloucester and servants with torches.
Now, Edmund, where's the villain?
Here stood he in the dark, his sharp sword out, mumbling of wicked charms, conjuring the moon to stand auspicious mistress.
But where is he?
Look, sir, I bleed.
Where is the villain, Edmund?
Fled this way, sir, when by no means he could.
Pursue him, go after.
Exit servants.
By no means, what?
Persuade me to the murder of your lordship. But that I told him the revenging gods against parricides did all the thunder bend. Spoke with how manifold and strong a bond the child was to bound to the father. Sir, in fine, seeing how loathly opposite I stood to his unnatural purpose, in fell motion with his prepared sword, he charges home my unprovided body, lanced my arm, and when he saw my best alarmed spirits bold in the quarrel's right, roused to the encounter, or whether gasted by the noise I made, full suddenly he fled.
Let him fly far. Not in this land shall he remain uncaught and found. Dispatch. The noble Duke, my master, my worthy arch and patron, comes tonight. By his authority I will proclaim it, that he which finds him shall deserve our thanks, bringing the murderous coward to the stake. He that conceals him, death.
When I dissuaded him from his intent and found him pight to do it, his cursed speech, I threatened to discover him. He replied, thou unpossessing bastard, dost thou think if I would stand against thee, would the reposal of any trust, virtue, or worth in thee make thy words faith? No, what I should deny, as this I would, though thou didst produce my very character. I turn it all to thy suggestion, plot, and damned practice. And thou must make a dullard of the world if they not thought the prophets of my death were very pregnant and potential spurs to make thee seek it.
Oh, strange and fastened villain! Would he deny his letter? Said he.
Tuck it within.
Hark! The Duke's trumpets! I know not why he comes. All ports I'll bar. The villain shall not escape. The Duke must grant me that. Besides his picture, I will send far and near, that all the kingdom may have due note of him. And of my land, loyal and natural boy, I'll work the means to make thee capable.
Enter Cornwall, Regan, and attendants.
How now, my noble friend? Since we came hither, which can I call but now? We have heard strange news.
Oh, my lord, my old heart is cracked. It's cracked.
Regan. Regan.
Was he not companion with the riotous knights that tended upon my father? Oh, what did my father's godson seek your life? He whom my father named your Edgar?
Oh, lady, shame would have I hid.
Was he not companion with the riotous knights that attended upon my father?
Yes,
Yes, madam.
he was of that consort.
No marvel then, though he were ill affected. 'Tis they have put him on the old man's death, to have the expanse and waste of his revenues. I have this present evening from my sister been well informed of them, and with such cautions that if they come to sojourn at my house, I'll not be there.
Nor I, assure thee, Regan. Edmund, I hear that you have shown your father a childlike office.
It was my duty, sir.
He did bewray his practice and received this hurt. You see, striving to reprehend him.
Is he pursued?
Aye, my good lord.
If he be taken, he shall never more be feared of doing harm. For you, Edmund, whose virtue and obedience doth this instant so much commend itself, you shall be ours. Natures of such deep trust we shall much need. You we first seize on.
I shall serve you, sir, truly, however else.
For him, I thank your grace.
You know not why we came to visit you.
Occasions, noble Gloucester, of some poise, wherein we must have use of your advice. Our father he hath writ, so hath our sister, of differences which I best thought it fit to answer from our home. Our good old friend, lay comforts to your bosom and bestow your needful counsel to our businesses, which craves the instant use.
I serve you, madam. Your graces are right welcome.
Flourish. Exeunt. Scene 2. Before Gloucester's castle. Enter Kent in disguise and Oswald severally.
Good dawning to thee, friend. Art of this house?
I,
I know thee not.
fellow, I know thee.
What dost thou know me for?
A knave, a base, a proud, shallow, beggarly, 3-suited, 100-pound, filthy, worsted, stocking knave, a lily-livered, action-taking whoresome, glass-glazing, super-serviceable, finical rogue, one drunken, herding slave, one that must be abhorred in a way of good service, and art nothing but the composition of a knave, beggar, coward, pandit, and the son and heir of a mongrel bitch, one whom I will beat into clamorous whining if thou deniest the least syllable in thy addition.
Why, what a monstrous fellow art thou thus, to rail on one that is neither known of thee nor knows thee.
What a brazen-faced varlet art thou to now thou knowest me. Is it 2 days ago since I tripped you with thy heels and beat thee before the king?
He draws his sword.
Draw, you rascal! You come with letters against the king and take vanity, the puppet's part, against the royalty of her father. Draw, you rascal! Come your ways!
Help, ho! Murder! Help!
Strike, you slave! Stand, rogue! Strike!
He beats Oswald.
Help, ho! Murder! Murder!
Enter Edmund with his rapier drawn. Cornwall, Regan, Gloucester, and servants.
How now? What's the matter? Part!
Keep peace upon your lives. He dies that strikes again. What is the matter?
The messengers from our sister and the king.
What is your difference? Speak!
This ancient ruffian, sir, whose life I have spared at suit of this gray beard.
Spared of my gray suit, you wagtail?
A peace, sirrah! You beastly knave, know you no reverence?
Yes, sir, but anger hath the privilege.
Why art thou angry?
That such a slave as this should wear a sword, who wears no honesty. Such smiling rogues as these, like rats, oft bite the holy cords a twain, which are too intrinse, too unloose, smooth every passion that in the nature of their lords rebel. Being oil to fire, snow to the colder moods, renege, affirm, and turn their halcyon beaks with every gale and vary of their masters, knowing naught, like dogs, but following a plague upon your epileptic visage. Smile you my speeches as I were a fool. No contraries hold more antipathy than I, and such a knave.
Why dost thou call him knave? What is his fault?
His countenance likes me not.
No more perchance does mine, nor his, nor hers.
Sir, 'tis my occupation to be plain. I have seen better faces in my time that stands on any shoulder than I see before me at this instant.
This is some fellow who, having been praised for bluntness, doth affect a saucy roughness and constrains the garb quite from his nature. He cannot flatter, he. An honest mind and plain, he must speak truth, and they will take it so. If not, he's plain. These kinds of knaves I know, which in this plainness harbor more craft and more corrupter ends than 20 silly duckling observants that stretch their duties nicely.
I know, sir, I am no flatterer. He that beguiled you in a plain accent was a plain knave, which for my part I will not be, though I should win your displeasure to entreat me to it.
What was the offense you gave him?
I never gave him any. It pleased the king, his master, very late to strike at me upon his misconstruction, when he, compact and flattering his displeasure, tripped me behind, being down insulted, railed, and put upon him such a deal of man that worthy him got praises of the king for him attempting who was self-subdued, and in the fleshment of his dread exploit drew on me here again.
Fetch forth the stocks. You stubborn ancient knave, you reverend braggart, we'll teach you.
Sir, I am too old to learn. Call not your stocks for me. I serve the king, on whose employment I was sent to you. Who shall do small respect, show too bold malice against the grace and person of my master, stalking his messenger.
Fetch forth the stocks. As I have life and honor, there shall he sit till noon.
Till noon, till night, my lord, and all night too.
Why, madam, if I were your father's dog, you should not use me so.
Sir, being his knave, I will.
This is a fellow of the self-same color our sister speaks of. Come, bring away the stocks.
Stocks are brought out.
Let me beseech your grace not to do so. His fault is much, and the good king, his master, will check him to it. Your proposed purposed low correction is such as base and contemptuous wretches for pilferings and most common trespasses are punished with. The king must take it ill that he, so slightly valued in his messenger, should have him thus restrained.
My sister may receive it much more worse to have her gentleman abused, assaulted for following her affairs. Put his legs in.
Kent is put in the stocks.
Come, my good lord. Away.
Exeunt all but Gloucester and Kent.
I am sorry for thee, friend. 'Tis the Duke's pleasure, whose disposition all the world well knows, will not be rubbed nor stopped. I'll entreat for thee. The Duke's to blame in this. 'Twill be ill taken.
Exit Gloucester.
Good king, that must approve the common saw. Thou out of heaven benediction comest to the warm sun.
He takes out a paper.
A good man's fortune may grow at heels. Nothing sees miracles but misery. I know this letter from Cordelia, who hath most fortunately been informed of my obscured course, and shall find time from this enormous state seeking to give losses their remedies. I have traveled hard. Sometime I shall sleep out. Fortune, good night. Smile once more. Turn thy wheel.
He sleeps. Scene 3, a wood. Enter Edgar.
I heard myself proclaimed, and by the happy hollow of a tree escaped the hunt. No port is free. No place that guard and most of the unusual vigilance does not attend my taking. Whilst I may escape, I will preserve myself, and am bethought to take the basest and most poorest shape that ever penury and contempt of man brought near to beast. My face I'll grime with filth, blanket my loins, elf my hairs in knots, and with presented nakedness outface the winds and persecution of the sky. The country gives me proof and precedent of bedlam beggars who with roaring voices strike in their numbed and mortified arms pins, wooden pricks, nails, sprigs of rosemary, and with this horrible object from low farms, poor pelting villages, sheepcotes, and mills, sometimes with lunatic bands, sometimes with prayers, enforce their charity. Poor Tuligod. Poor Tom. That's something yet. Edgar, I nothing am.
Exit Edgar. Scene 4, before Gloucester's castle. Kent still on stage in the stocks. Enter Lear and his fool.
'Tis strange that they should so depart from home and not send back my messenger.
Hail to thee, noble master.
Ha! Makest thou this shame thy pastime?
No, my lord.
Ha! He wears cruel garters. When a man's over lusty in legs, that he wears wooden up, sorry fool.
He wears cruel garters. When a man's over lusty in legs, then he wears wooden nether stocks.
What's so much thy place mistook to set thee here?
It is both he and she, your son and daughter.
No.
Yes.
No, I say.
I say yea.
Jupiter, I swear, no.
I do know, I swear I.
They durst not do it. They could not, would not do it. 'Tis worse than murder to do upon respect such violent outrage. Resolve me with all modest haste, which way thou mightst deserve, or they impose this usage, coming from us.
My lord, when at their home I did commend your highness' letter to them, or I was risen from the place that showed my duty kneeling, came there a reeking host, stewed in his haste, half breathless, panting forth from Goneril, his mistress salutations, delivered letters, spite of intermission, which presently thy read, on which contents they summoned up their meany, straight took horse, commanded me to follow and attend the leisure of their answers, gave me cold looks, and meeting here the other messenger, whose welcome I perceived has poisoned mine, being the very fellow which of late displayed so saucily against your highness, having more man than wit about me, drew. He raised the house with loud and coward cries. Your son and daughter found their trespass worth the shame which here suffers.
Oh, how this mother swells up toward my heart. Hysteric Passio, down! Thou climbing sorrow, thy elements is below. Where is this daughter?
With the earl, sir, here within.
Follow me not. Stay here.
Exit Lear.
What made you no more offense but what you speak of?
None. How chance the king comes with so small a number?
And thou hadst been set in the stocks for that question, now it's well deserved it.
Why, fool?
We'll set thee to school to an ant to teach thee there's no laboring in the winter. All that follow their noses are led by their eyes but blind men, and there's not a nose among 20 but can smell him that's stinking. Let go thy hold when a great wheel runs down a hill, lest it break thy neck with following. But the great one that goes upward, let him draw thee after. That sir which serves and seeks for gain, and follows but for form, will pack when it begins to rain, and leave thee in the storm. But I will tarry, the fool will stay, and let the wise man fly. The knave turns fool that runs away. The fool no knave per die.
Where learned you this, fool?
Not in the stocks, fool.
Re-enter Lear with Gloucester.
Deny to speak with me? They are sick? They are weary? They have traveled all the night? Mere fetches, the images of revolt and flying off. Fetch me a better answer.
My dear lord, you know the fiery quality of the Duke, how unremovable and fixed he is in his own course.
Vengeance, plague, death, confusion, fiery? What quality? Why, Gloucester, I'll speak with the Duke of Cornwall and his wife.
Well, my good lord, I have informed them so.
Inform them? Dost thou understand me, man? The king would speak with Cornwall. The dear father with his daughters speak, commands, tend service. Are they informed of this? My breath and blood fiery, the fiery Duke? Death on my state, wherefore should he sit here? This act persuades me that this remolition of the Duke and her in practice only. Give my servant forth. Go tell the Duke and his wife I'd speak with them. Now presently, bid them come forth and hear me, or at their chamber door I'll beat the drum till it cries sleep to death.
I would have all well betwixt you.
Exit Gloucester.
Oh, me. Oh, my heart. My rising heart. Down, down.
Cry to it, nuncle, as the cockney did to the eels when she put him in the paste alive. She napped him on the coxcombs with a stick and cried, "Down, wanton, down!" 'Twas her brother that in pure kindness to his horse buttered his hay.
Re-enter Gloucester with Cornwall and Regan.
Good morrow to you both.
Hail to your grace.
Kent is set free and led off by the servants.
I am glad to see, Your Highness.
Regan, I think you are. I know what reason I have to think so. If thou shouldst not be glad, I would divorce me from thy mother's womb, sepulchring an adulteress. Beloved Regan, thy sister's naught. O Regan, she hath tied sharp-toothed unkindness like a vulture. Here I can scarce speak to thee. Lord's not believe with how depraved a quality. Oh, Regan!
I cannot think my sister in the least would fail her obligation. If, sir, perchance she have restrained the riots of your followers, 'tis on such ground to such wholesome end as clears her from all blame.
Well, my curse is on her.
Oh, sir, you are old. Nature in you stands on the very verge of his confine. You should be ruled and led by some discretion that discerns your state better than you yourself. Therefore, I pray you that to our sister you do make return. Say you have wronged her.
Ask her forgiveness? Do you but mark how this becomes the house?
He kneels.
Dearest daughter, I confess that I am old. Age is unnecessary. On my knees I beg that you'll vouchsafe me raiment, bed, and food.
Good sir, no more. These are unsightly tricks. Return to my sister.
Lear rises.
Never, Regan. She hath abated me of half my train, looked black upon me, struck me with her tongue, most serpent-like, upon the very heart. All the stored vengeances of heaven fall on her in grateful top. Strike her young bones, you nimble lightnings, dart your binding flames into her scornful eyes. Infect her beauty, you fen-sucked fogs, draw by the powerful sun to fail and bless her.
Oh, the blessed gods. So will you wish on me when the rash mood is on?
Oh, no, Regan, thou shalt never have my curse. Thy tender-hefted nature shall not give thee o'er to harshness. Her eyes are fierce, but thine do comfort and not burn. 'Tis not in thee to grudge my pleasures, to cut off my train, to bandy hasty words, to scant my sizes, and in conclusion, to oppose the bolt against my coming in. Thou better knowest the offices of nature, bond of childhood, effects of courtesy, dues of gratitude, thy half of the kingdom, hast thou not forgot wherein I thee endowed?
Good sir, to the purpose.
Who put my man in the stocks?
Tuck it within.
What trumpet's that?
I know it, my sister's. This approves her letter, that she would soon be here.
Enter Goneril and Oswald. Regan takes Goneril's hand.
Out, varlet, out! There is a slave whose easy borrowed pride dwells in this fickle grace of her he follows. Are not ashamed to look upon this beard, O Regan? Will you take her by the hand?
Why not by the hand, sir? How have I offended? All's not offense that indiscretion finds, and dotage terms so.
How came my man in the stocks?
I set him there, sir, but his own disorders deserved much less advancement.
You? Did you?
I pray you, father, being weak seems so, if till the expiration of your mouth you will return and sojourn with my sister, dismissing half your train, come then to me.
Return to her? And 50 men dismissed? No! Rather I abjure all roofs and choose to wage against the enmity of the air, to be a comrade with the wolf, an owl. Necessity's a sharp pinch. Return with her? Why, the hot-blooded France, that dowerless took our youngest born, I could as well be bought to knee his throne and squire-like pension beg to keep base his life afoot. Return with her! Ah! Persuade me rather to be slave and sumpter to his detested groom.
He indicates Oswald.
At your choice, sir.
I prithee, daughter, do not make me mad. I will not trouble thee, my child. Farewell. We'll no more meet, no more see one another, but yet thou art my flesh, my blood, my daughter, or rather, a disease that's in my flesh, which I must needs call mine. Thou art a boil, a plague sore, or embossed carbuncle in my corrupted blood. But I'll not chide thee. Let shame come when it will. I do not call it. I do not bid the thunder bearer shoot, nor tell tales of thee to high judging Jove. Mend when thou canst. Be better at thy leisure. I can be patient. I can stay with Regan, I and my 100 knights.
Not altogether so. I looked not for you, yet nor am provided for your fit welcome. Give ear, sir, to my sister, for those that mingle reason with your passion must be content to think you old, and so she knows what she does.
Is this well spoken?
I dare avouch it, sir. What, 50 followers? Is it not well? What should you need of more? Yea, or so many sit that both charge and danger speak against so great a number. How in one house should many people under 2 commands hold enmity? 'Tis hard, almost impossible.
Why might not you, my lord, receive attendance from those that she calls servants, or from mine?
Why not, my lord? If then they chance to slack you, we could control them. If you will come to me, for now I spy a danger, I entreat you to bring but 25. To no more will I give place or notice.
I gave you all.
And in good time you gave it.
Made you my guardians, my depositaries, but kept a reservation to be followed with such a number. What? Must I come to you with 25? Regan, said you so?
And speak again, my lord, no more with me.
Those wicked creatures yet do look well favored when others are more wicked. Not being the worst stands in some rank of praise. I'll go with thee. Thy 50 yet doth double 25, and thou art twice her love.
Hear me, my lord. What need you 25, 10, or 5 to follow you in a house where twice so many have a command to tend you?
What need 1?
Oh, reason not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is cheap as beasts. Thou art a lady. If only to go warm were gorgeous. Why, nature needs not what thou gorgeous wearest, which scarcely keeps thee warm. But for true need, you heavens, give me that patience. Patience I need. You see here, you gods, a poor old man is full of grief, his age, wretched in both. If it be you that stirs these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Touch me with noble anger, and let not women's weapons, water drops, stain my man's cheeks. No, you unnatural hags, I will not have such revenges on you both, that all the world shall. I will do no such things. What they are yet I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep? No, I'll not weep. I have full cause of weeping, but this heart
Storm and tempest.
shall break into 100,000 flaws, or ere I'll weep. Oh, fool! I shall go mad!
Exit Lear and Fool with Gloucester.
Let us withdraw. 'Twill be a storm.
House is little. The old man's and people cannot be well bestowed.
'Tis his own blame hath put himself from rest, and must needs taste his folly.
For his particular, I'll receive him gladly, but not one follower.
So am I proposed. Where is my lord of Gloucester?
Follow the old man forth.
Re-enter Gloucester.
He is returned.
Gloucester.
Is in high rage.
Whither is he going?
He calls to horse, but will I not go with her?
My lord, entreat him by no means to stay.
The night comes on, and the high winds do sorely ruffle. For many miles about, there's scarce a bush.
Oh, sir, to willful men, the injuries that they themselves procure must be their schoolmasters. Shut up your doors. He is attended with a desperate train, and what they may incense him to being apt to have his ear abused, wisdom bids fear.
Shut up your doors, my lord. 'Tis a wild night. My Reagan counsels well. Come out of the storm.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1. A heath. Storm. Enter Lear and Fool.
Blow, winds, and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow! You cataracts and hurricanes, spout till you have drenched our steeples, drown the cocks. You sulphurous and thought-executing fires, vaunt couriers of oak-cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head. And thou, all shaking thunder, striketh at thick rotundity of the world, crack nature's molds, all garments spill at once, that makes ungrateful men.
Oh, nuncle, court holy water in a dry house is better than this rain water out of door. Good nuncle, in. Ask thy daughter's blessing. Here's a night pities neither wise men nor fools.
Rumble thy belly full, spit fire, spout rain, nor rain, wind, thunder. Fire are my daughters, I tax not you, you elements. You with unkindness, I never gave you kingdom, called you children. You owe me no subscription. Then let fall your horrible pleasures. Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man. But yet I call you servile ministers, that will with two pernicious daughters join you high-engendered battles against a head so old and white as this. Oh, 'tis foul.
Enter Kent in disguise.
Who's there?
Mary, here's grace in a codpiece. That's a wise man and a fool.
Alas, sir, are you here? Things that loved night, not such nights as these. Ah, the wrathful skies gallows the very wanderers of the dark, and make them keep their caves. Oh, since I was man, such sheets of fire, such bursts of horrid thunder, such groans of roaring wind and rain, I never remember to have heard. Man's nature cannot carry the affliction nor the fear.
Let the great gods that keep this dreadful butter o'er our heads find out their enemies now. Tremble, thou wretch, that hast within thee undivulged crimes, unwhipped of justice. Hide thee, thy bloody hand, thou perjured, and thou similar of virtue that art incestuous. Caitiff to pieces shake, that under covert and convenient seeming has practiced on man's life. Close pent-up guilts rive your concealing countenance, and cry those dreadful summoners grace, I am a man more sinned against than sinning.
Alack, bareheaded, gracious my lord, hard by here is a hovel. Some friendship will it lend you gainst the tempest. Repose you there while I to this hard house, more harder than the stones whereof 'tis praised, which even but now, demanding after you, denied me to come in, return in force their scanted courtesy.
My wits begin to turn. Come on, my boy. How dost, my boy? Art cold? And I am cold myself. Where is this straw, my fellow? The art of our necessities is strange and can make vile things precious. Come, your hovel. Poor fool and knave, I have one part in my heart that's sorry yet for thee.
He that has a little tiny wit with hey-ho, the wind and the rain, must make content with his fortunes fit, though the rain it raineth every day.
Ah, true, my good boy. Come, bring us to this hovel.
Exeunt Kent and Lear.
This is a brave night to cool a courtesan. I'll speak a prophecy ere I go. When priests are more in word than matter, when brewers mar their malt with water, when nobles are their tailors' tutors, no heretics burned but wenches' suitors, when every case in law is right, no squire in debt, nor no poor knight, when slanders do not live in tongues, nor cut purses come not to throngs, when usurers tell their gold in the field, and bawds and whores do churches build, then shall the realm of Albion come to great confusion.
Exit Fool. Scene 2, Gloucester's castle. Enter Gloucester and Edmund.
Alack, alack, Edmund, I like not this unnatural dealing. When I desired their leave that I might pity him, they took from me the use of mine own house, charged me on pain of perpetual displeasure, neither to speak of him, entreat for him, or in any sustain.
Most savage and unnatural.
Go to, say you nothing. There is division between the dukes, and the worse matter than that. I have received a letter this night. 'Tis dangerous to be spoken. I have locked the letter in my closet. These injuries the king now bears will be revenged home. There is part of a power already footed. We must incline to the king. I will look him and privily relieve him. Go you and maintain talk with the duke, that my charity be not of him perceived. If he ask for me, I am ill and gone to bed. If I die for it, as no less is threatened me, the king, my old master, must be relieved. There is a strange things toward Edmund. Pray you, be careful.
Exit Gloucester.
This courtesy forbid thee shall the Duke instantly know, and of that letter too. No less than all, the younger rises when the old doth fall.
Exit Edmund. Scene 3. The heath. Before a hovel. Enter Lear, Kent in disguise again, and Fool.
Here is the place, my lord. Good my lord, enter. The tyranny of the open night's too rough for nature to endure.
Storm still.
Let me alone.
Good my lord, enter here.
Will break thy heart?
I had rather break mine own. Good my lord, enter.
Thou thinkest 'tis much that this contentious storm invades us to the skin? So 'tis to thee. But where the greater malady is fixed, the lesser is scarce felt. Thou'st shun a bear, but if thy flight lay toward the roaring sea, and thou'st did meet the bear in the mouth. When the mind's free, the body's delicate. This tempest in my mind doth from my senses take all feeling else, save what beats there. Filial ingratitude. Is it not that this mouth should tear this hand for lifting food to it? But I will punish home. No, I will weep no more. It's such a right to shut me out. Pour on, I will endure. In such a night as this, oh, Reagan, Goneril, your old kind father whose frank heart gave all. Oh, that way madness lies. Now let me shun that. No more of that, no more.
Good my lord, enter here.
Prithee, go in thyself. Seek thine own ease. This tempest will not give me leave to ponder on things would hurt me more. But I'll go in. In, boy, go first. You houseless poverty. Nay, get thee in. I'll pray, and then I'll sleep.
Exit Fool.
Poor naked wretches, wheresoe'er you are, that bide the pelting of this pitiless storm. How shall your houseless heads and unfed sighs, your looped and windowed raggedness defend you from seasons such as these? Oh, I've taken too little care of this. Take physic, pomp, expose thyself to feel what wretches feel, that thou mayst shake the surplus to them and show the heavens more just.
Fathom and half, poor Tom.
Re-enter Fool.
Come not in here, Nungle. Here's the spirit. Help me, help me.
Give me thy hand. Who's there?
A spirit, a spirit. He says his name's Poor Tom.
Enter Edgar in disguise.
Away, the foul fiend follows me. Through the sharp hawthorn blows the cold wind. Go to thy cold bed and warm thee.
Didst thou give all to thy daughters, and art thou come to this?
Who gives anything to poor Tom? Whom the foul fiend hath led through the fire and flame, through the ford and whirlpool, over bog and quagmire? Bless thy 5 wits. Tom's a cold. Do to poor Tom some charity, whom the foul fiend vexes.
Storm still.
As his daughters brought him to this pass, couldst thou save nothing? Wouldst thou give him all?
Nay, he reserved a blanket, else we'd all been shamed.
Oh, now all the plagues that in the pendulous air hang faded on man's fault, light on thy daughters.
He hath no daughters, sir.
Death, traitor! Nothing could have subdued nature to such a lowness but his unkind daughters. It is the fashion that discarded fathers should have thus little mercy on their flesh. Judicious punishment. 'Twas this flesh begot those pelican daughters.
Pilcock sat on Pilcock Hill, alloo, alloo, loo, loo.
This cold night will turn us all to fools and madmen.
Take heed of the foul fiend. Obey thy parents. Keep thy word, justice. Swear not. Commit not with man's sworn spouse. Set not thy sweet heart on proud array. Tom's a cold.
What hast thou been?
A serving man. Proud in heart and mind that curled my hair, wore gloves in my cap, served the lusts of my mistress' heart, and did the act of darkness with her. Swore as many oaths as I spake words, and broke them in the sweetest face of heaven. False of heart, light of ear, bloody of hand, hog in sloth, fox in stealth, wolf in greediness, dog in madness, lion in prey. Let not the creaking of the shoes nor the rustling of the silks betray thy poor heart to woman. Keep thy foot out of brothels, thy hand out of plackets, thy pen from lenders' books, and defy the foul fiend. Still through the hawthorn blows the cold wind. Sessa, money nunny, dolphin, my boy, Sessa, let him trot by.
Thou art better in a grave than to answer with thy uncovered body this extremity of the skies. Is man no more than this? Consider him well. Unaccommodated man is no more but such a poor, bare, forked animal as thou art. Off, you lendings. Come, unbutton here.
Lear starts tearing off his clothes.
Prithee, nuncle, be contented. 'Tis a naughty night to swim in.
Enter Gloucester with a torch.
Oh, look, here comes a walking fire.
This is the foul fiend, Flibbertigibbet. He begins at curfew and walks till the first cock. He hurts the poor creature of the earth. Swift-footed thrice the old, he met the nightmares and her ninefold. Bid her alight and her troth plight, and anoint thee, witch, anoint thee.
Who's there? What is to you seek?
Gloucester.
What are you there? Your names?
Poor Tom, that eats the swimming frog, the toad, the tadpole, the wall-newt, and the water, that in the fury of his heart, when the foul fiend rages, eats cow-dungs for salads, swallows the old rat and the ditch dog, drinks the green mantle of his standing pool, who is whipped from tithing to tithing, and stocked, punished, and imprisoned, who hath 3 suits to his back, 6 shirts to his body, horse to ride and weapon to wear, but mice and rats and such small deer have been Tom's food for 7 long year. Beware, my follower. Peace, Smulkin. Peace, thou fiend.
Hath your grace no better company?
The Prince of Darkness is a gentleman. Modo he's called, and Maui.
Our flesh and blood vile, and it doth hate what gets it.
Poor Tom's a cold.
Go in with me. My duty cannot suffer to obey in all your daughter's hard commands. Though their injunction be to bar my doors and let this tyrannous night take hold upon you, yet have I ventured to come seek you out and bring you where both fire and food is ready.
First, let me talk with this philosopher.
Good, my lord. Take this offer. Go into thy house.
I'll take a word with this same learned Stephen. What is your study?
How to prevent the fiend and kill the vermin.
Let me ask you one word in private.
They talk aside.
Importune him once more to go, my lord. His wits begin to unsettle.
Canst thou blame him?
Storm still.
His daughters seek his death. Ah, that good Kent. He said it would be thus. Poor banished man. Thou seest the king grows mad. I'll tell thee, friend, I am almost mad myself. I had a son, now outlawed from my blood. He sought my life, but lately, very late, I loved him, friend. No father his son dearer. True to tell thee, the grief hath crazed my wits. Oh, what a night's this! I do beseech your grace.
I'll cry you mercy, sir.
Arms of
Fellow there, into the hovel. Keep thee warm.
Come, let's in all.
This way, my lord.
With him, I will keep still with my philosopher.
Good, my lord. Soothe him. Let him take the fellow.
Take him you on.
Sirrah, come on. Go along with us.
Come, good Athenian.
Child Roland to the dark tower came. His word was still. Fi, fo, and fum. I smell the blood of a British man.
Exeunt, scene 4, Gloucester's castle. Enter Cornwall and Edmund with the paper.
I will have my revenge ere I depart his house.
How, my lord, I may be censured, that nature thus gives way to loyalty, something fears me to think of. How malicious is my fortune, that I must repent to be just. This is the letter he spoke of, which approves him in an intelligent party to the advantages of France. Oh, heavens, that this treason were not, or not I, the detector. If the matter of this paper be certain, you have mighty business in hand.
True or false, it hath made thee Earl of Gloucester. Seek out where thy father is, that he may be ready for our apprehension.
If I find him comforting the king, it will stuff his suspicion more fully. I will persevere in my course of loyalty, though the conflict be sore between that and my blood.
I will lay trust upon thee, and thou shalt find a dearer father in my love.
Exeunt, scene 5, a chamber in a farmhouse. Enter Kent in disguise and Gloucester.
Here is better than the open air. Take it thankfully. I will piece out the comfort with what addition I can. I will not be long from you.
All the power of his wits have given way to his impatience. The gods reward your kindness.
Exit Gloucester. Enter Lear, Edgar in disguise, and Fool.
Rataretto calls me and tells me Nero is an angler in the lake of darkness. Pray, innocent, and beware the foul fiend.
Prithee, uncle, tell me whether a madman be a gentleman or a yeoman.
A king. A king!
No, he's a yeoman that has a gentleman to his son, for he's a mad yeoman that sees his son a gentleman before him.
To have 1,000 with red burning spits come hissing in upon him.
The foul fiend bites my back.
He's mad that trusts in the tameness of a wolf, a horse's health, a boy's love, or a whore's oath.
It shall be done. I will arraign them straight. Come, sit thou here, most learned justice. Thou, sapient sir, sit here. Now, you she foxes.
Look where he stands and glares. Want'st thou eyes at trial, madman? Come o'er the burn, Bessie, to me.
Her boat hath a leak, and she must not speak. Why she dares not come over to thee.
The foul fiend haunts poor Tom in the voice of a nightingale. Croak not, black angel.
How do you, sir? Stand you not so abased? will you lie down and rest upon these cushions?
I'll hear their trial first. Bring in their evidence. Thou, robbed man of justice, take thy place, and thou, his yokefellow of equity, bench by his side. You are the commission. Sit you too. Arraign her first. 'Tis Goneril. I here take my oath before this honorable assembly, kick the poor king, her father.
Come hither, mistress. Is your name Goneril?
She cannot deny it.
Cry you mercy, I took you for a joint stool.
And here's another whose warped looks proclaim what store her heart is made on. Stop her there. Arms, arms, sword, fire! Corruption in the place. False justicer, why hast thou let her escape?
My tears begin to take his part so much they mar my counterfeiting.
The little dogs and all, Tray, Blanche, and Sweetheart, see they bark at me.
Tom will throw his head at them. Avaunt, you curs!
Then let them anatomize Regan. See what breeds about her heart. Is there any cause in nature that makes these hard hearts? You, sir, I entertain for one of my 100, only I do not like the fashion of your garments. You will say they are Persian, but let them be changed.
Now, good my lord, lie here and rest a while.
Make no noise. Make no noise. Draw the curtains. So we'll go to supper in the morning.
And I'll go to bed at noon.
Enter Gloucester.
Come hither, friend. Where is the king, my master?
Here, sir. But trouble him not, his wits are gone.
Good friend, I prithee, take him in thy arms. I have heard a plot of death upon him. There is a litter ready. Lay him in it, and drive toward Dover, friend, where thou shalt meet both welcome and protection. Take up thy master, if thou shouldst stay half an hour, his life. With thine and all that offer to defend stand in assured loss. Take up and follow me, that will to some provision give thee quick conduct.
Come, help bear thy master. Thou must not stay behind.
Come away.
Exeunt all carrying Lear, but Edgar remains.
We are better, see bearing our woes. We scarcely think our miseries, our foes. Who alone suffers most in the mind, leaving free things and happy shows behind. Then the mind much sufferant doth o'erskip when grief hath mates and bearing fellowship. How light and portable my pain seems now, when that which makes me bend makes the king bow. He chided as I fathered, Tom, away. Mark the high noises and thyself bewray when false opinion whose wrong thoughts defile thee, and thy just proof repeals and reconciles thee. What will hap more tonight, save 'scape the king? Lurk.
Exit Edgar. Scene 6, Gloucester's Castle. Enter Cornwall, Regan, Goneril, Edmund with servant and more attending.
Post speedily to my lord your husband. Show him this letter.
He gives her paper.
An army of France is landed. Seek out the traitor Gloucester.
Hang him instantly.
Pluck out his eyes.
Leave him to my displeasure. Edmund, keep you our sister company. The revenges we are bound to take upon your traitorous father are not fit for your beholding. Advise the Duke where you are going to a most festinate preparation. We are bound to the like. Our post shall be swift and intelligent betwixt us. Farewell, dear sister. Farewell, my lord of Gloucester.
Enter Oswald.
How now? Where's the king?
My lord of Gloucester hath conveyed him hence. Some 5 or 36 of his knights, hot questrists after him, met him at gate, who, with some other of the lord's dependents, are gone with him toward Dover, where they boast to have well-armed friends.
Get horses for your mistress.
Exit Oswald.
Farewell, farewell, sweet lord and sister.
Edmund, farewell.
Exit Goneril and Edmund.
Though well we may not pass upon his life without the form of justice, yet our power shall do a courtesy to our wrath, which men may blame, but not control.
We enter some servants with Gloucester.
Who's there? The traitor?
Ingrateful fox, 'tis he.
Bind fast his corky arms.
What, your graces? Good, my friends, consider you are my guests. Do me no foul play, friends.
Bind him, I say.
Hard, hard, O filthy traitor.
Unmerciful lady as you are, I'm none.
To this chair, bind him.
The servants bind Gloucester. Regan grabs him by the beard.
So white, and such a traitor.
I am your host. With robbers' hands, my hospitable favors. You should not ruffle thus. What will you do?
Come, sir. What letters had you late from France?
Be simple answered, for we know the truth.
And what confederacy have you with the traitors late footed in the kingdom?
To whose hands you have sent the lunatic king? Speak.
Gloucester.
I have a letter guessingly set down, which came from one that's of a neutral heart, and not from one opposed.
Cunning.
And false.
Where hast thou sent the king?
To Dover.
Wherefore to Dover? Wast thou not charged at peril?
Because I would not see thy cruel nails pluck out his poor old eyes, nor thy fierce sister in his anointed flesh stick boorish fangs. The sea, with such a storm as his bare head in hell-black night endured, would have buoyed up and quenched the stellid fires. Yet, poor old heart, he helped the heavens to reign. If wolves had at thy gate howled that stern time, thou shouldst have said, "Good porter, turn the key." All cruels else subscribe. But I shall see the winged engines overtake such children.
See it shalt thou never. Fellows, hold the chair. Upon these eyes of thine, I'll set my foot.
All servants hold the chair. Cornwall forces out one of Gloucester's eyes and stamps on it.
One side will mock another, the other too.
If you see vengeance.
Hold your hand, my lord. I have served you ever since I was a child. A better service have I never done you than now to bid you hold.
My villain?
Nay, then come on and take the chance of anger.
He draws, they fight.
Give me thy sword, a peasant stand up thus.
She takes a sword and runs at servant from behind and kills him.
Oh, I am slain. My lord, you have one eye left to see some mischief on him. Oh.
He dies.
Lest it see more, prevent it. Out, vile jelly.
Cornwall forces out Gloucester's other eye.
Where is thy luster now?
Oh, darkness! Where's my son, Edmund? Edmund! And kindle all the sparks of nature to quit this horrid act.
Out, treacherous villain! Thou callest on him. It was he that made the overture of thy treason to us. Who is too good to pity thee?
Oh, my follies! Then Edgar was abused. Kind gods, forgive me that, and prosper him.
Go thrust him out at the gates, and let him smell his way to Dover.
Some servants exit with Gloucester. Reagan.
Oh, how is it, my lord? How look you?
I have received a hurt. Follow me, lady. Reagan, I bleed apace. Give me your arm. Untimely comes this hurt.
Exeunt. Act 4. Act 4, Scene 1. The Heath. Enter Edgar in disguise.
Yet better thus and known to be contemned, than still contemned and flattered, to be worst. The lowest and most dejected thing of fortune still stands in esperance, lives not in fear. The lamentable change is from the best. The worst returns to laughter. Welcome then, thou unsubstantial air that I embrace. The wretch that hath blown unto the worst owes nothing to thy blast, but who comes here?
Enter Gloucester, led by an old man.
My father, poorly led. World, oh world, but that thy strange mutations make us hate thee, life would not yield to age.
Away, get thee away. Good friend, be gone. Thy comforts can be no good at all. Thee they may hurt.
You cannot see your way.
I have no way, and therefore want no eyes. I stumbled when I saw. Oh, dear son Edgar, the fool of thy abused father's wrath. Might I but live to see thee in my touch, I'd say these again.
How now? Who's there?
Gods, who is't can say I am the worst? I am the worst that ever I was.
Fellow, where goest? 'Tis poor Mad Tom.
Is it a beggar, man?
Madman and beggar too.
He has some reason, else he could not beg. The last night's storm, I such a fellow saw, which made me think a man of worm. My son came then into my mind, and yet my mind was then scarce friends with him. I have heard more since, as time flies. Wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport.
How should this be? Bad is the trade that must play fool to sorrow, angering itself and others. Bless thee, master.
Is that the naked fellow?
Aye, my lord.
Prithee, get thee away, if for my sake thou wilt or take us hence a mile or twain, in the way toward Dover. Do it for ancient love, and bring some covering for this naked soul, which I entreat to lead me.
Alack, sir, he is mad.
'Tis the time's plague, when madman lead the mind. Do as I bid thee, or rather do thy pleasure. Above the rest, be gone.
I'll bring him the best peril that I have. Come on to what will.
Exit old man.
Sirrah, naked fellow.
Poor Tom's a cold. I cannot dab it further,
Come hither, fellow.
and yet I must. Bless thy sweet eyes, they bleed.
Here, take this purse. Thou whom the heavens' plagues have humbled to all strokes. Dost thou know, drover?
Aye, master.
There is a cliff whose high, bending head looks fearfully in the contained deep. Bring me but to the very brim of it, and I'll repair the misery thou dost bear with something rich about me. From that place I shall no leading need.
Give me thy arm. Poor Tom shall lead the way.
Exeunt. Scene 2, before Albany's place. Enter Goneril and Edmund.
Welcome, my lord. I marvel our mild husband not met us on the way.
Enter Oswald.
Now, where's your master?
Oswald.
Coming. Madam, Madam, within but never man so changed. I told him of the army that was landed. He smiled at it. I told him you were coming. His answer was the worse of Gloucester's treachery and of the loyal service of his son. When I informed him, then he called me sot and told me I had turned the wrong side out. What most he should dislike seems pleasant to him, what like offensive.
Then shall you go no further. It is the cowish terror of his spirit that dares not undertake. He'll not feel wrongs which tie him to an answer. Our wishes on the way may prove effects. Back, Edmund, who my brother. Hasten his musters and conduct his powers. I must change names at home and give the distaff into my husband's hands. This trusty servant shall pass between us. Ere long you are like to hear, if you dare venture in your own behalf, a mistress's command. Wear this safe speech.
She gives him a favor.
Decline your head.
She kisses him.
This kiss, if it durst speak, would stretch thy spirits up into the air. Conceive, and fare thee well.
Yours in the ranks of death.
Exit Edmund.
My most dear Gloucester. Oh, the difference of man and man! To thee a woman's services are due. My fool usurps my body.
Madam, here comes my lord.
Exit Oswald. Enter Albany.
I have been worth the whistle.
Oh, Goneril, you are not worth the dust which the rude wind blows in your face. I fear your disposition that nature will, which contemns its origin, cannot be boarded certain in itself. She that herself will sliver and disbranch from her material sap perforce must wither and come to deadly use.
No more. The text is foolish.
Wisdom and goodness to vile seem vile. Filths savor but themselves. What have you done? Tigers, not daughters. What have you performed? A father and a gracious aged man whose reverence even the head-lug bear would lick. Most barbarous, most degenerous. Have you madded? Could my good brother suffer you to do it? A man, a prince, by him so benefited, if that the heavens do not their visible spirits send quickly down to tame these vile offenses, it will come. Humanity must perforce prey upon itself like monsters of the deep.
Milk-livered man, that bear'st a cheek for blows, a head for wrongs. Who hath not in thy brow an eye discerning thine honor from thy suffering? That not knowst, fools do those villains pity who are punished ere they have done their mischief. Where's thy drum? France spreads his banners in our noiseless land. With plumed helm, thy state begins to threat, whilst thou, a moral fool, sits still and cries, alack, why does he so?
See thyself, devil! Proper deformity shows not in the fiend so hard as in a woman.
O vain fool!
Thou changed and self-covering thing, for shame! Be monster not thy feature. Were to my fitness to let these hands obey my blood, they are apt enough to dislocate and tear thy flesh and bones. However, thou art a fiend, a woman's shape doth shield thee.
Marry, your manhood mewing.
Enter a messenger.
What news?
Oh, my good lord, the Duke of Cornwall's dead, slain by his servant, going to put out the other eye of Gloucester.
Gloucester's eyes?
A servant that he bred, thrilled with remorse, opposed against the act, bending his sword to his great master, who, thereat enraged, flew on him, and amongst him felled him dead, but not without that harmful stroke which since hath plucked him after.
This shows you are above, you justicers, that these our nether crimes so speedily can venge. But oh, poor Gloucester, lost he his other eye?
Both, my lord. This letter, madam, craves a speedy answer.
He gives her the paper.
'Tis from your sister.
One way I like this well, but being widow and my Gloucester with her, may all the building in my fancy pluck upon my hateful life. Another way the news is not so tart. I'll read and answer.
Exit Goneril.
Where was his son when they did take his eyes?
Come with my lady hither.
He is not here.
No, my good lord, I met him back again.
Knows he the wickedness?
Aye, my good lord. 'Twas he informed against him and quit the house on purpose, that their punishment might have the freer course.
Gloucester, I live to thank thee for the love thou showst the king, and to revenge thine eyes. Come hither, friend. Tell me what more thou knowest.
Exeunt. Scene 3, the French camp near Dover. Enter Kent in disguise and a gentleman.
Why the King of France is so suddenly gone back, know you no reason?
Something he left imperfect in the state, which imports to the kingdom so much fear and danger, that his personal return was most required and necessary.
Did your letters pierce the queen to any demonstration of grief?
Aye, sir. She took them, read them in my presence, and now and then an ample tear trilled down her delicate cheek. It seemed she was a queen over her passion who, most rebel-like, fought to be king or her. You have seen sunshine and rain at once. Her smiles and tears were like a better way. Those happy smilets that played on her right lip seemed to know what guests were in her eyes, which parted thence as pearls from diamonds dropped. In brief, sorrow would be a rarity most beloved if all could so become it.
Made she no verbal question?
Her faith, once or twice, she heaved the name of father, pantingly forth as if it pressed her heart, cried, sisters, sisters, shame of ladies, sisters, Kent, father, sisters, what in the storm, in the night, let pity not be believed. There she shook the holy water from her heavenly eyes, and clamor moistened. Then away she started to deal with grief alone.
It is the stars. The stars above us govern our conditions. Else one's self mate and mate could not beget such different issues. You spoke not with her since?
No.
Well, sir, the poor distressed Lear's in the town, who sometime in his better tune remembers what we are come about, and by no means will yield to see his daughter.
Why, good sir?
A sovereign shame so elbows him. His own unkindness, that stripped her of her benediction, tuned her to the foreign casualties, gave her dear rights to her dog-eared daughters. These things sting his mind so venomously that burning shame detains him from Cordelia.
Alack, poor gentleman.
Of Albany's and Cornwall's power you have heard not?
'Tis so. They are afoot.
Well, sir, I bring you to find our master Lear and leave you to attend him. Some dear cause will in concealment wrap me up a while. When I am known aright, you shall not grieve lending me his acquaintance. I pray you, go along with me.
Exeunt. Scene 4, Gloucester's Castle. Enter Regan and Oswald.
But my brother's powers set forth,
Aye, madam.
himself in person there.
Madam, with much ado, your sister is the better soldier.
Lord Edmund spake not with your lord at home.
No, madam.
What might import my sister's letter to him?
I know not, lady.
Faith, he posted hence on serious matter. It was great ignorance, Gloucester's eyes being out, to let him live. Where he arrives, he moves all hearts against us. Edmund, I think, is gone, in pity of his misery, to dispatch his knighted life, moreover to descry the strength of the enemy.
I must needs after him, madam, with my letter.
Our troops set forth tomorrow. Stay with us. The ways are dangerous.
I may not, madam. My lady charged my duty in this business.
Well, why should she write to Edmund? Might not you transport her purposes by word? But like some things, I know not what. I'll love thee much. Let me unseal the letter.
Madam, I had rather...
I know your lady does not love her husband. I am sure of that. And at her late being here, she gave strange elids and most speaking looks to noble Edmund. I know you are of her bosom.
I, madam?
I speak in understanding, yar I note. Therefore I do advise you take this note. My lord is dead. Edmund and I have talked, and more convenient is he for my hand than for your lady's. You may gather more if you find him. Pray you, give him this.
She gives him a favor.
And when your mistress hears thus much from you, I pray, desire her call her wisdom to her. So, fare you well. If you so chance to hear of that blind traitor, preferment falls on him that cuts him off.
Would I could meet him, madam, I should show what party I do follow.
Fare thee well.
Exeunt. Scene 5, Fields near Dover. Enter Gloucester and Edgar, now dressed as a peasant.
Find your top of that same hill.
You do climb it now. Look how we labor.
Methinks the ground is even.
Horrible steep. Hark, do you hear the sea?
No, truly.
Why then your other senses grow imperfect by your eyes' anguish.
So may it be indeed. Methinks thy voice is altered, and thou speakest in better phrase and manner than thou didst.
You are much deceived. In nothing am I changed but my garments.
Methinks you're better spoken.
Come on, sir. Here's the place. Stand still. How fearful and dizzy to cast one's eyes so low. The crows and choughs that wing the midway airs show scarce so gross as beetles. Halfway down hangs one that gathers samphire, dreadful trade. Methinks he seems no bigger than his head. The fishermen that walk upon the beach appear like mice, and yond tall anchoring bark diminished to her cock a buoy almost too small for sight. The murmuring surge that on the unnumbered idled pedaled chafes cannot be heard so high. I'll look no more, lest my brain turn to the deficient sight topple down headlong.
Set me where you stand.
Give me your hand. You are now within a foot of the extreme verge. For all beneath the moon would I not leap upright.
Let go my hand. Here, friend, is another purse. Fairies and gods, prosper it with thee.
He gives Edgar a purse.
Go thou further off, bid me farewell, and let me thee going.
Now fare you well, good sir.
With all my heart.
Edgar moves aside.
Why I do trifle thus with his despair is done to cure it.
O you mighty gods,
He kneels.
this world I do renounce, and in your sights shake patiently my great affliction off. If I could bear it longer, and not fall to quarrel with your great opposeless wills, my snuff and loathed part of nature should burn itself out. If Edgar live, him, now, fellow, fare thee well.
He falls.
Gone, sir? Farewell? And yet I know not how to conceit may rob the treasure of life when life itself yields it to theft. Had he been where he thought by he had his past, alive or dead? Ho you, sir, friend, hear you, sir, speak. Thus might his past indeed, yet he revives. What are you, sir?
Away and let me die.
Hadst thou been aught but gossamer's feathers ere, so many fathom down precipitating, thou didst shiver like an egg. But thou dost breathe, hast heavy substance, bleedst not, speakest art sound. 10-masted, each make not the altitude which thou hast perpendicularly fell. Thy life's a miracle, speak yet again.
But have I fall or no?
From the dreadful summit of this chalky bourne, do but look up.
Fact, I have no eyes. Is wretchedness deprived the benefit to end itself by death? 'Twas yet some comfort with frustrated proud will.
Give me your arm. Up.
He raises Gloucester.
Up. So how is it? Feel your legs. You stand.
Up so. So how is it?
Feel your legs. You stand.
Too well, too well.
This, above all strangeness, upon the crown of the cliff, what was that thing which parted from you?
Poor unfortunate beggar.
Oh, as I stood here below, methought his eyes were 2 full moons, and he had 1,000 noses, horns whelked and waved like the enraged sea. It was some fiend, therefore. Thou happy father, think that the clearest gods who make them honor of men's impossibilities have preserved thee.
I do remember now. Henceforth I'll bear affliction till I do cry out itself. It do cry out itself, enough, enough, and die. That thing, I look it for a man. Often could say, the fiend, the fiend. He led me to that place.
bear free in patient thoughts.
Enter Lear, mad and wearing a crown of wild flowers. Edgar continues.
Sorry. The safer sense will ne'er, but who comes here? The safer sense will ne'er accommodate his masters thus.
No, they cannot touch me for coining. I am the king himself. Nature's above art in that respect. There's your press money. That fellow handles his bow like a crow keeper. Draw me a clothier's yard. Look, a mouse. Peace, peace. This piece of toasted cheese will do it. There's my gauntlet. I'll prove it on a giant. Bring up the brown bills. Oh, well-flown bird. In the clout, away!
Sweet marjoram.
Know that voice?
Ah! Goneril, with a white beard? They flattered me like a dog and told me I had the white hairs in my beard and the black ones were there. When the rain came to wet me once and the wind to make me chatter, when the thunder would not peace at my bidding, there I found them. There I smelt them. Go to! They are not men of their words. They told me I was everything. 'Tis a lie. I am not egg-proof.
Is not the king?
Aye, every inch a king.
Oh, let me kiss that hand.
Ah, let me wipe it first. It smells of mortality.
Oh, ruined piece of nature. This great world shall so wear out to naught. Dost thou know me?
I remember thine eyes well enough. Dost thou whinny at me? No, do thy worst, blind Cupid. I'll not love. Read thou this challenge. Mark but the penning of it.
I would not take from this report. It is, and my heart breaks at it.
Read!
What, with the case of eyes?
Oh, are you there with me? No eyes in your head? No money in your purse? Your eyes are in a heavy case, your purse in a light, and you see how this world goes.
I see it feelingly.
What, art mad? A man may see how this world goes with no eyes. Look with thine ears. See how yon justice rails upon yon simple thief. Hearken thine ear. Change places and handy-dandy, which is the justice, which is the thief. Thou hast seen a farmer's dog bark at a beggar, and the creature run from the car? Then thou mightst behold the great image of authority, a dog's obeyed in office. Thou rascal beetle, hold thy bloody hand. What dost thou lash that whore? Strip thine own back. Thou's hotly lust to use her in that kind for which thou whipped at her? The usurer hangs the causator. Though tattered clothes small vices do appear. Rubes and furred gowns hide all. Plates sin with gold, and the strong lance of justice hurtless breaks arm in its rags. A pygmy straw does pierce it. None does offend. None. I say none. I'll able 'em. Take that of me, my friend, who have the power to seal the accuser's lips. Get thee glass eyes, and like a scurvy politician, sing to these things thou dost not. Now!
Oh, matter and impertinency mixed, reason in madness.
If thou will weep my fortunes, take my eyes. I know thee well enough. Thy name is Gloucester. Thou must be patient. We came crying hither. Thou knowest that the first time we smell the air, when we are born, we cry that we are come to this great stage of fools. This is a good block. It were a delicate stratagem to shoe a troop of horse with felt. I'll put it in proof. And when I leave stolen upon these son-in-laws, then kill, 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 kill!
Enter a gentleman with attendants.
Oh, here he is. Lay hand upon him, sir. Your most dear daughter.
No, dear, no, that's you. What, a prisoner? I am even the natural fool of fortune. Use me well, you shall have ransom. Let me have surgeons. I am cut to the brains.
You shall have anything.
No seconds? All myself? Why, this would make a man of salt to use his eyes for garden water pots. Aye, laying autumn's dust, I will die bravely, like a smug bridegroom. What? I will be jovial. Come, come. I am a king. Masters know you that.
You are a royal one, and we obey you.
Ah, then there's life in it. Come on, as you get it, you shall get it by running. Sa 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 sa.
A sight most pitiful in the meanest wretch, past speaking of in a king. Thou hast a daughter who redeems nature from the general curse which twain have brought her to.
Hail, gentle sir.
Sir, speed you. What's your will?
Do you hear aught, sir, of a battle toward?
Most sure and vulgar. Everyone hears that which can distinguish a sound.
But by your favor, how near is the army?
Near and on speedy foot. The main descry stands on the hourly fort.
I thank you, sir. That's all.
Exit gentlemen.
You ever gentle gods, take my breath from me. Let not my worser spirit tempt me again. Die before you please.
Well, pray you, father.
Oh, good sir, who are you?
A most poor man, made tame to fortune's blows, who by the art of known and feeling sorrows am pregnant to good pity. Give me your hand. I'll lead you to some biding.
He takes Gloucester's hand.
Hearty thanks, the bounty and the benison of heaven, toot and boot.
Enter Oswald, drawing his sword.
I proclaim prize, most happy, that I was head of thine was first framed flesh to raise my fortunes. Thou old unhappy traitor, briefly thou'st remember, the sword is out, that must destroy thee.
Now let thy friendly hand put strength enough to it.
Edgar steps between Gloucester and Oswald.
Wherefore, bold peasant, darst thou support a published traitor? Hence, lest that the infection of his fortune take, like hold on thee, let go his arm.
I'll not let go, sir, without further occasion.
Let go, slave, or thou diest.
Chill tick your peace, sir. Come no matter for your foins.
They fight. Oswald falls.
Slave, thou hast slain me. Villain, take my purse. If ever thou wilt thrive, bury my body, and give the letters which thou findest about me to Edmund, Earl of Gloucester. Seek him out upon the English party. Oh, untimely death!
He dies.
I know thee well, serviceable villain, as duteous to the vices of thy mistress as badness would desire.
Is he dead?
Sit you down, father. Rest you.
Edgar searches Oswald's body.
Let's see these pockets. The letters that he spake of may be my friends. He is dead. I am only sorry he hath no other deathsman. Let us see.
He opens the letters and reads.
Let our reciprocal vows be remembered. You have many opportunities to cut him off. If you will want not, time and place will be fruitfully offered. There is nothing done if he return the conqueror. Then am I prisoner, and his bed my jail. From loathed warmth whereof doth deliver me, and supply the place for your labor. Your wife, so I would say, affectionate servant, and for you her own venture, Goneril. O distinguished space of woman's will! A plot upon her virtuous husband's life, and the exchange my brother.
Drum afar off.
Give me your hand. Far off, methinks I hear the beaten drum. Come, father, I'll bestow you with a friend.
Exeunt. Scene 6. A tent in the French camp. Lear on stage asleep, with gentlemen keeping watch. Enter Cordelia and Kent in disguise.
Oh, thou good Kent, how shall I live and work to match thy goodness? My life will be too short, and every measure failed me.
Be acknowledged, madam, is o'erpaid. All my reports go with the modest truth, nor more, nor clipped but so.
Be better suited. These weeds are memories of those worser hours. I prithee put them off.
Pardon, dear madam, yet to be known shortens my made intent. My boon I make it that you know me not till time and I think meet.
Then be it so, my good lord. How does the king?
Madam sleeps still.
Oh, you kind gods, cure this great breach in his abused nature. The untuned and jarring senses, oh, wind up of this child-changed father.
So please your majesty that we may wake the king. He hath slept long.
Very well.
Be by, good madam, when we do wake him. I doubt not of his temperance. Draw near.
Oh, my dear father, restoration hang thy medicine on my lips, and let this kiss repair those violent harms that my two sisters have in thy reverence made.
She kisses him.
Had you not been their father, these white flakes did challenge pity of them. Was this a face to be opposed against the jarring winds? To stand against the deep dread bolted thunder, and the most terrible and nimble stroke of quick cross lightning? To watch poor Perdue with this thin helm? Mine enemy's dog, though he had bit me, should have stood that night against my fire. And wast thou fain, poor father, to hovel thee with swine and rogues forlorn in short and musty straw? Alack, alack, 'tis wonder that thy life and wits at once had not concluded all. He wakes. Speak, sir. How does my royal lord? How fares your majesty?
You do me wrong to take me out of the grave. Thou art a soul in bliss, but I am bound upon a wheel of fire, that mine own tears do scald like molten lead.
Sir, do you know me?
You are a spirit, I know. Where did you die?
Still far wide.
Oh. Where have I been? Where am I? Fair daylight. I am mightily amused. I should even die with pity to see another thus. I know not what to say. I will not swear these are my hands. Let's see. I feel this pinprick. Would I were assured of my condition.
Oh, look upon me, sir, and hold your hand in benediction o'er me. No, sir, you must not kneel.
Pray do not mock. I am a very foolish old man, and to deal plainly, I fear I am not in my perfect mind. Methinks I should know you and know this man. Yeah, I'm doubtful, for I am mainly ignorant what place this is. And all the skill I have remembers not these garments, nor I know not where I did lodge last night. Do not laugh at me, for as I am a man, I think this lady to be my child, Cordelia.
And so I am. I am.
Be your tears wet? Oh, yes, faith, I pray weep not. If you have poison for me, I will drink it. I know you do not love me, or your sisters have, as I do remember, done me wrong. You have some cause, they have not.
No cause. No cause.
Am I in France?
In your own kingdom, sire.
Oh, do not abuse me.
Desire him to go in. Trouble him no more till further settling.
Will it please your highness walk?
You must bear with me, pray you now. Forget and forgive. I am old and foolish.
Exeunt Cordelia and Lear. Kent and gentlemen remain.
Holds it true, sir, that the Duke of Cornwall was so slain?
Most certain, sir.
Who is conductor of his people?
As is said, the bastard son of Gloucester.
They say Edgar, his banished son, is with the Earl of Kent in Germany.
Report is changeable. It is time to look about. The powers of the kingdom approach apace.
The arbitrament is like to be bloody. Fare you well, sir.
Exit gentlemen.
My point and period will be thoroughly wrought, or well, or ill, as this day's battle is fought.
Exit Kent. Act 5, Scene 1. The British camp near Dover. Enter, with drums and colors, Edmund and Regan with soldiers.
Our sister's man is certainly miscarried.
Is to be doubted, madam.
Now, sweet lord, you know the goodness I intend upon you. Tell me but truly, but then speak the truth. Do you not love my sister?
In honored love.
But have you never found my brother's way to the forfended place?
That thought abuses you.
I am doubtful that you have been conjunct and bosomed with her as far as we call hers.
No, by mine honor, madam.
I never shall endure her. Dear my lord, be not familiar with her.
Fear me not. She and the Duke, her husband.
Enter, with drum and colors, Albany and Goneril.
I had rather lose the battle than that sister should loosen him and me.
Our very loving sister, well be met. Sir, this I heard. The king is come to his daughter, with others whom the rigor of our state forced to cry out. Where I could not be honest, I never yet was valued for this business. It touches us as France invades our land. Not bolds the king with others whom I fear most just and heavy causes make oppose.
Combine together against the enemy, for these domestic and particular broils are not the question here.
Let's then determine with the ancient of war on our proceeding.
I shall attend you presently at your tent.
Sister, you'll go with us?
Oh, I know the riddle. I will go.
Goneril, Regan, and Albany begin to exit. Enter Edgar, dressed as a peasant.
If ever your grace had speech with a man so poor, hear me one word.
I'll overtake you.
Exeunt all but Albany and Edgar.
Speak.
Before you fight the battle, ope this letter. If you have victory, let the trumpet sound for him that brought it. Wretched though I seem, I can produce a champion that will prove what is avouched there. If you miscarry, your business of the world hath so an end, and machinations cease. Fortune love you.
Stay till I have read the letter.
I was forbid it. When time shall serve, let but the trumpet cry, and I'll peer again.
Exit Edgar.
I fare thee well. I will o'erlook thy paper.
Re-enter Edmund.
The enemy's in view. Draw up your powers.
We will greet the time.
Exit Albany.
To both these sisters have I sworn my love, each jealous of the other as the stung heir of the adder. Which of them shall I take? Both, one, or neither? Neither can be enjoyed if both remain alive. To take the widow exasperates. Mad her sister Goneril, and hardly shall I carry out my side, her husband being alive. Now then, we'll use his countenance for the battle, which being done, let her who would be rid of him devise his speedy taking off. As for the mercy which he intends to Lear and to Cordelia, the battle done, and they within our power shall never see his pardon, for my state stands on me to defend, not to debate.
Exit Edmund. Scene 2, a field between the two camps. Gloucester alone on stage, alarum within, excursions within, then retreat. Enter Edgar in haste.
Away, old man, give me thy hand. Away, King Lear hath lost, he and his daughter taken. Give me thy hand. Come on.
No further, sir. A man may rot even here.
What, in ill thought again? Men must endure their going hence, even as their coming hither. Ripeness is all. Come on.
Exeunt. Scene 3, the British camp near Dover. Enter in conquest with drum and colors, Edmund with soldiers, including a captain, bringing in Lear and Cordelia as prisoners.
Some officers take them away. Good guard until their greater pleasures first be known, that are to censure them.
You're not the first who with best meaning have incurred the worst. For thee, oppressed king, I am cast down. Myself could else outfrown false fortune's frown. Shall we not see these daughters and these sisters?
No, 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 no. Come, let's away to prison. We two alone will sing like birds in the cage. When thou dost ask me a blessing, I'll kneel down and ask thee forgiveness. So we'll live and pray and sing and tell old tales and laugh as gilded butterflies and hear poor rogues talk of court news, and we'll talk with them too. Who's losses, who wins, who's in and who's out, and take upon this mystery of things as if we were God's spies. And we'll wear out in a walled prison packs and sects of great ones that ebb and flow by the moon.
Take them away.
Upon such sacrifices, my Cordelia, the gods themselves throw incense. Have I caught thee? He that parts us shall bring a brand from heaven and fire us hence like foxes. Oh, wipe thine eyes. The good years shall devour them, flesh and all. Ere they shall make us weep, we'll see 'em starve first, Cordelia.
Exit Lear and Cordelia, led by soldiers.
Come hither, captain. Hark.
He gives the captain a paper.
Take thou this note. Go follow them to prison. If thou dost as this instructs thee, thou dost make thy way to noble fortunes.
Flourish. Enter Albany, Goneril, Reagan, soldiers, and a captain.
Sir, you have showed today your valiant strain, and fortune led you well. You have the captives who were the opposites of this day's strife. I do require them of you, so to use them as we shall find their merits and our safety may equally determine.
Sir, I thought it fit to send the old and miserable king to some retention and appointed guard, whose age had charms in it, whose title more, to pluck the common bosom on his side and turn our impressed lances in our eyes, which do command them. With him I sent the queen. My reason all the same, they are ready tomorrow, or at further space to appear, where you shall hold your session. At this time we sweat and bleed. The friend hath lost his friend, and the best quarrels in the heat are cursed by those that feel their sharpness. The question of Cordelia and her father requires a fitter place.
Sir, by your patience, I hold you but a subject of this war, not as a brother.
That's as we list to grace him. Methinks our pleasure might have been demanded ere you had spoke so far. He led our powers, bore the commission of my place and person, the which immediacy may well stand up and call itself your brother.
Not so hot. In his own grace he doth exalt himself more than in your addition.
In my rights by my invested, he compeers the best.
That were the most if he should husband you.
Jesters do oft prove prophets.
Allah, that eye that told you looked but a squint.
Lady, I am not well, else I should answer from full flowing stomach. General, take thou my soldiers, prisoners, patrimony, dispose of them, of me, the walls in thine. Witness the world that I create thee here, my lord and master.
Mean you to enjoy him?
But let alone lies not in your goodwill.
Nor in thine, Lord.
Half-blooded fellow, yes.
Let the drum strike and prove my title thine.
Stay yet, hear reason. Edmund, I arrest thee on capital treason, and in thine attaint this gilded serpent. For your claim, fair sister, I bar it in interest of my wife. 'Tis she is subcontracted to this lord, and I, her husband, contradict your bans. If you will marry, make your loves to me. My lady is bespoke.
An interlude.
Thou art armed, Gloucester. Let the trumpet sound. If none appears to prove upon thy person thy heinous, manifest, and many treasons, there is my pledge.
Sick!
Oh.
Sick! Oh, sick!
If not, I'll never trust medicine.
There's my exchange.
He throws down a glove.
What in the world he is that names me traitor? Villain like he lies. Call by the trumpet. He that dares approach on him, on you, who not I will maintain my truth and honor firmly.
A trumpet sounds.
Oh, my sickness grows upon me.
She is not well. Convey her to my tent.
Reagan is helped to exit. Enter Edgar armed.
Tell me, what are you, and why doth you answer this present summons?
No, my name is lost. By treason's tooth bear, gnaw, and canker bit, yet am I noble as the adversary I come to cope.
Which is that adversary?
What's he that speaks for Edmund, Earl of Gloucester?
Himself. What sayest thou to him?
Draw thy sword, that if my speech offend a noble heart, thy arm may do thee justice. Here's mine. Behold, it is my privilege. the privilege of mine honors, my oath and my profession, I protest, maugre thy strength, place youth and eminence, despite the victor's sword and fire new fortune. Thy valor and thy heart, thou art a traitor. False to thy gods, thy brother and thy father, conspirator against this high illustrious prince, and from the extremest upwards of thy head to the descent and dust below thy foot, a most toad-spotted traitor. Say thou no? This sword, this arm, and my best spirits are bent to prove upon thy heart, whereto I speak, thou liest.
In wisdom I should ask thy name, but since thy outside looks so fair and warlike, and that thy tongue some say a bleeding breeze, back do I toss these treasons to thy head, with the hell-hated overwhelm thy heart, which, for they yet glance by and scarcely bruise, this sword of mine shall give them instant way, where they shall rest forever. Trumpets, speak!
He draws his sword. Alarums. They fight. Edmund falls wounded.
Save him! Save him! This is practice, Gloucester. By the law of war, thou wast not bound to answer an unknown opposite. Thou art not vanquished, but cozened and beguiled.
Shut your mouth, dame, or with this paper shall I stop with? Hold, sir!
He gives Edmund the letter.
Thou worse than any name, read thine own evil.
Goneril tries to grab the paper.
No tearing, lady. No tearing, lady. Knowest thou this paper?
Ask me not what I know.
Exit Goneril.
Go after her, she's desperate. Govern her.
Soldier exits.
What you have charged me with, that have I done, and more, much more. The time will bring it out. 'Tis past, and so am I. But what art thou that hast this fortune on me? If thou'rt noble, I do forgive thee.
Let's exchange charity. I am no less in blood than thou art, Edmund. If more, the more hast wronged me. My name is Edgar, and thy father's son. The gods are just, and of our pleasant vices make instruments to plague us. The dark and vicious place where thee he got cost him his eyes.
Thou'st spoken right. 'Tis true. The wheel is come full circle. I am here.
Methought thy very gate did prophecy of royal nobleness. I must embrace thee. Let sorrow split my heart if ever I did hate thee or thy father.
Worthy prince, I know it.
Where have you hid yourself? How have you known the miseries of your father?
By nursing them, my lord. List a brief tale, and when 'tis told, oh, that my heart would burst. The bloody proclamation to escape that followed so near, our lives' sweetness, that we the pain of death would hourly die rather than die at once, taught me to shift into a madman's rage. It assumed a semblance that very dogs disdained. And in this habit, that I my father with his bleeding rings, their precious stones now lost, became his guide, led him, begged for him, saved him from despair. Never, O fault, revealed myself unto him until some half hour passed when I was armed. Not sure, though hoping of this good success, I asked his blessing, and from first to last told him of our pilgrimage. But his flawed heart, alack, too weak the conflict to support, twixt two extremes of passions, joy and grief, burst smilingly. This would seem a period to such as love not sorrow, but another, to amplify too much, would make much more and top extremity. Whilst I was big in clamor, came there a man, who, having seen me in my worst estate, shunned my abhorred society, by then finding who 'twas that was so endured with his strong arms, he fastened on my neck and bellowed out, as he burst heaven, threw him on my father, told the most piteous tale of Lear, and him that ever ear received, which, in recounting, his grief grew pursuant, and the strings of life began to crack. Twice then the trumpet sounded, and there I left him tranced.
But who was this?
Kent, sir, the banished Kent, who in disguise followed his enemy king, and did him service improper for a slave.
Enter a soldier with a bloody knife.
Help! Help! Oh, help!
What kind of help? What means this bloody knife?
'Tis hot, it smokes. It came even from the heart of, oh, she's dead.
Who's dead? Speak, man!
Your lady, sir, your lady, and her sister. By her is poison. She confesses it.
I was contracted to them both. The one the other poisoned for my sake, and after slew herself. Yet Edmund was beloved. All three now marry in an instant.
Here comes Kent.
I am come to bid my king and master good night. Is he not here?
The king of us forgot. Speak, Edmund, where's the king? And where's Cordelia?
I pant for life. Some good I mean to do, despite mine own nature. Quickly send, be brief in it, to the castle, for my writ is in the life of Lear, and on Cordelia. Nay, send in time.
Run, run, oh, run!
To whom, my lord? Who has the office? Send thy tokens of reprieve.
Well thought on. Take my sword, give it to the captain.
Haste thee for thy life.
Exit soldier with Edmund's sword.
He hath commission from thy wife and me to hang Cordelia in the prison, and to lay the blame upon her own despair, that she fordid herself.
Gods defend her. Bear him hence a while.
Edmund is carried off by soldiers. Enter Lear with Cordelia's body in his arms, followed by gentlemen.
Oh, oh, you men of stones! I know your tongues and eyes, I'd use them so that heaven's vault should crack. She's gone forever.
Is this the promised end?
Or image of that horror?
Fall and cease.
Oh, my good master.
Prithee away!
Noble Kent, your friend.
Plague upon you murderers, traitors all! I might have saved her, and now she is gone forever. Cordelia, stay a little. What sayest? Oh, her voice was ever soft, gentle and low, and an excellent thing in woman. I killed the slave that was hanging thee. I have seen the day, and with my good biting falchion I would have made him stop. I am old now, and if these same crosses spoiled me. Are you not Kent? Mine eyes are not of the best.
Your servant, Kent.
You are welcome hither.
Nor no man else. All's cheerless, dark and deadly. Your eldest daughters have foregone themselves, and desperately are dead.
Edmund is dead, my lord.
It's but a trifle here. You, lords and noble friends, know our intent. What comfort to this great decay may come shall be applied. For us, we will resign during the life of this old majesty. To him our absolute power, you to your rights with boot and such addition as your honors have more than merited. All friends shall taste the wages of their virtue, and all foes a cup of their deservings. Oh, see, see!
And my poor fool is hanged. No, no, no life? Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have life, and thou no breath at all? Thou'll come no more. Never? 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 Oh, do you see her? Look on her, look, oh, her lips. Look there, look there. Oh.
He dies.
He faints. My lord, my lord.
Break, heart, I prithee thee, break.
Look up, my lord.
Vex not his ghost. Oh, let him pass. He hates him that would upon the rack of his tough world stretch him out longer.
He is gone indeed.
The wonder is he hath endured so long. He but usurped his life.
Hither from hence, our present business is general woe. Friends of my soul, you twain, rule in this realm, and the gourd state sustain.
I have a journey, sir, shortly to go. My master calls me, I must not say no.
The weight of this sad time, we must obey. Speak what we feel, not what we ought to say. The oldest hath borne most. We that are young shall never see so much, nor live so long.
Exeunt with a dead march. End of play.
I've been resurrected.
Bravo, Mr. Kane. Bravo.
Wow.
Bravo!
You did that all without a short time. Damn.
That fun or what?
Thank you for taking your shirt off.
Yeah. It was just a shirt.
I should have been shirtless too, and I was like, oh, he went for it.
Give the crowd